Welcome to this video, where we'll dive deep into a life-changing method that will help you turn quick, seemingly small actions into long-term sustainable habits. This method is called the 5-minute rule, and it has the potential to change the way you approach everything from fitness to learning, personal development, and even your relationships. Have you ever struggled with maintaining new habits? Maybe you've set out with ambitious goals, only to lose steam after a few days or weeks. You're not alone. Most of us have been there, and it's often because we try to do too much, too soon. The 5-minute rule, however, offers a practical, achievable way to break through that barrier. By committing to just 5 minutes of any activity, you overcome procrastination and inertia. This small action might seem insignificant, but as you'll learn in this video, it's the foundation for building powerful, long-term habits. So stay with me as we explore how the 5-minute rule can help you achieve your goals, no matter how big or small they may be. And don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss any future content designed to help you live your best life. Chapter 1, The Origin of the 5-minute rule. The concept of the 5-minute rule isn't a modern invention. In fact, it's grounded in psychological principles and behaviors that have been studied for decades. The rule gained popularity in productivity circles as people sought simpler ways to get started on daunting tasks. The basic premise of the rule is simple. Start any task by committing to just 5 minutes of focused effort. But why 5 minutes? Why not 10 or 15? The magic of 5 minutes lies in its brevity. It's short enough that your brain doesn't perceive it as a serious commitment, and that's precisely what makes it so effective. The mental resistance we experience when facing a large task or an ambitious goal is significantly reduced when we lower the perceived effort required. 5 minutes seems like nothing, and that's the point. However, as you'll see throughout this video, the 5-minute rule isn't just about tricking your brain into starting, it's about creating momentum and leveraging that momentum to build habits that last. Chapter 2, The Psychology Behind the 5-minute rule. To understand why the 5-minute rule works so well, we need to delve into the psychology behind human motivation and procrastination. There are several key psychological principles at play, and by mastering these, you can unlock the full potential of the 5-minute rule. 2.1, The Activation Energy Concept. Activation energy is a term borrowed from chemistry, where it refers to the energy needed to start a reaction. In human behavior, activation energy is the effort or motivation required to start a task. The bigger and more complex the task, the higher the activation energy required to begin. For example, if your goal is to exercise for 30 minutes a day, your brain might perceive this as a large energy investment. If you're tired, busy, or simply unmotivated, this high energy requirement makes it easy to procrastinate. The 5-minute rule drastically lowers the activation energy. By committing to just 5 minutes, you reduce the perceived difficulty of starting the task. Once you're in motion, however, your brain often finds it easier to continue. And before you know it, you've surpassed those initial 5 minutes. 2.2, The Zeigarnik Effect. Why we struggle to stop once we start. One of the reasons the 5-minute rule works so effectively is due to a psychological principle known as the Zeigarnik Effect. This effect refers to our tendency to remember incomplete tasks better than completed ones. Essentially, our brains don't like leaving things unfinished. When you start a task, even for 5 minutes, your brain becomes engaged. That engagement creates a sort of mental tension, and this tension drives you to want to complete the task. Even if you initially plan to work for just 5 minutes, the Zeigarnik effect often compels you to continue beyond that, allowing you to make significant progress. 2.3, The Progress Principle. Why small wins matter. Another key psychological concept is the progress principle. Research has shown that making progress on meaningful work boosts our motivation and sense of accomplishment. Small wins, such as completing 5 minutes of an important task, can generate a feeling of success, which leads to more motivation to continue the habit. The 5-minute rule is designed to create these small, daily wins. Even if you don't go beyond 5 minutes, you'll still experience a sense of progress, which will fuel your desire to keep going the next day. Over time, these small wins compound into significant achievements. Chapter 3, Building Long-Term Habits with the 5-minute Rule. The ultimate goal of the 5-minute rule is to turn short, quick actions into long-term habits. But how exactly can you do that? Here's a step-by-step breakdown of how you can use the 5-minute rule to build habits that stick. 3.1 Step 1. Start small and stay consistent. The key to building any habit is consistency, not intensity. You're far better off doing 5 minutes of an activity every day than doing 30 minutes once a week. The 5-minute rule allows you to start small and gradually build your habit over time. For the first week or two, don't pressure yourself to extend your time beyond 5 minutes. Focus solely on showing up every day. The consistency you build in these early stages is what will solidify the habit, and the more you practice, the easier it becomes. 3.2 Step 2. Create a ritual around your habit. One way to ensure consistency is to create a ritual or routine around your habit. This ritual can be as simple as setting a specific time each day for your 5-minute action or pairing it with another habit you already do. For example, if you want to start meditating, you could pair 5 minutes of meditation with your morning coffee. This practice, called habit stacking, is incredibly effective because it ties your new habit to an established one, making it easier to remember and execute. 3.3 Step 3. Track your progress. One of the most motivating forces in habit building is seeing your progress. Use a habit tracker, whether it's a physical calendar or a digital app, to mark off each day you complete your 5 minutes. This visual cue creates a sense of accomplishment and builds momentum. The act of tracking also taps into a psychological principle known as the power of streaks. Once you have a streak going, you're less likely to break it because you don't want to lose your progress. Even if you're tired or unmotivated, the desire to maintain your streak can push you to complete your 5 minutes. 3.4 Step 4. Gradually increase the time. Once you've established your habit and it's become part of your daily routine, you can gradually increase the time you spend on it. However, it's important not to rush this step. The goal is to maintain consistency, not to overwhelm yourself with too much too soon. A good rule of thumb is to increase your time by small increments, maybe by 2 to 5 minutes each week. This gradual increase ensures that you don't experience burnout or lose motivation. Before you know it, a habit that started with just 5 minutes a day could turn into a 30-minute daily routine. Chapter 4. Real-life success stories. Now that you understand the mechanics of the 5-minute rule, let's explore some real-life success stories from people who've used this simple technique to achieve incredible results. 4.1. From couch to 5K. Sarah's running journey. Sarah had always wanted to become a runner, but the thought of running for 30 minutes or more felt overwhelming. She constantly found excuses to avoid it, telling herself she didn't have enough time or energy. Then she discovered the 5-minute rule. Instead of aiming for long runs, she committed to running for just 5 minutes each day. At first, it felt like a joke. What could she possibly accomplish in 5 minutes? But over time, Sarah noticed that once she started running, she often went beyond those 5 minutes. Within a few weeks, Sarah was consistently running for 10, then 15, then 20 minutes. She eventually trained for and completed a 5K race, all by starting with just 5-minute runs. The 5-minute rule helped her break through the mental barrier of starting and gave her the momentum she needed to succeed. 4.2. Building a writing habit. John's story. John was a busy professional who dreamed of writing a novel. He had the ideas, but finding the time and motivation to write was a constant struggle. He would often set aside an hour to write, only to be distracted by work, family, or social media. Frustrated by his lack of progress, John decided to try the 5-minute rule. Instead of dedicating large blocks of time to writing, he committed to just 5 minutes a day. It seemed almost laughable. How could he possibly write a novel 5 minutes at a time? But those 5 minutes turned into 10, then 20. Before long, John was consistently writing for 30 minutes to an hour each day. He finished the first draft of his novel within 6 months, all by starting with 5-minute writing sessions. 4.3. Learning a new language. Maria's success. Maria had always wanted to learn Spanish, but between work and family commitments, she never seemed to have the time to study consistently. She tried downloading language apps and taking online courses, but after a few days, she would lose motivation and stop. When Maria heard about the 5-minute rule, she decided to give it a try. She committed to spending just 5 minutes a day practicing Spanish. The small-time commitment felt manageable, even on her busiest days. What Maria found surprising was how much she could learn in just 5 minutes. As she stuck with it, her vocabulary and grammar improved. After a few months, she was able to hold basic conversations in Spanish, all thanks to her 5-minute-a-day practice. These success stories illustrate the power of the 5-minute rule. No matter your goal, whether it's fitness, writing, learning, or personal development, committing to just 5 minutes a day can help you build momentum and achieve long-term success. Chapter 5. Expanding the 5-minute rule to different areas of life. The 5-minute rule is not limited to any specific domain. Its beauty lies in its flexibility. You can apply it to virtually any area of your life. From health and fitness to learning new skills, from professional growth to personal relationships, the 5-minute rule can be adapted to fit your goals and circumstances. 5.1 Health and Fitness, building a routine with minimal effort. For many people, starting and maintaining a fitness routine is one of the hardest habits to build. The thought of working out for an hour each day can feel intimidating, especially if you're out of shape or lack the motivation to get started. The 5-minute rule offers a way to overcome that inertia. Instead of committing to long, strenuous workouts, start with just 5 minutes of movement each day. Whether it's 5 minutes of stretching, bodyweight exercises, or a short walk, the key is to establish the habit of moving daily. Over time, as you become more comfortable and your fitness level improves, you can gradually extend your workout sessions. Example: yoga for beginners. If you've ever wanted to try yoga but felt overwhelmed by hour-long classes, apply the 5-minute rule to your practice. Start by committing to just 5 minutes of yoga each day. You can find beginner-level poses online or use a yoga app that offers short sessions. As you build the habit, you may find yourself naturally wanting to practice for longer, but the initial 5-minute commitment is enough to get you started. Example: walking for health. Walking is one of the simplest, most accessible forms of exercise. Yet many people don't walk regularly because they feel they need to dedicate a significant amount of time to it. The 5-minute rule makes walking easier to incorporate into your routine. Start by committing to just 5 minutes of walking each day. You can walk around your block, your office, or even inside your home. As you build the habit, those 5 minutes can gradually extend to 10, 15, or 30 minutes. 5.2. Personal development, small steps toward big growth. Personal development is another area where the 5-minute rule can have a profound impact. Whether you want to improve your mindset, learn new skills, or work on your emotional intelligence, starting with small, consistent actions can lead to significant growth over time. Example: journaling. Many people want to start journaling but struggle with the idea of writing for long periods. The 5-minute rule makes journaling more accessible by reducing the time commitment. Start by writing in your journal for just 5 minutes each day. You can write about your thoughts, your goals, or what you're grateful for. The act of putting pen to paper, even for a short period, can help you gain clarity and reflect on your life. Example: reading personal development books. If you've always wanted to read more but find it hard to carve out the time, apply the 5-minute rule to your reading routine. Commit to reading for just 5 minutes each day. Even if it's just a page or two, those small increments add up over time. Eventually, you'll find yourself finishing entire books simply by reading for 5 minutes a day. 5.3 Professional growth. Making progress in your career. Professional development often requires learning new skills, staying up to date with industry trends, and networking. However, finding time for these activities can be challenging, especially if you have a busy work schedule. The 5-minute rule offers a way to make steady progress in your career without overwhelming yourself. Example: learning a new skill. If your goal is to learn a new skill for your job, whether it's coding, graphic design, or public speaking, commit to practicing that skill for just 5 minutes each day. For example, if you're learning to code, spend 5 minutes a day solving coding problems or working through tutorials. Over time, those small daily efforts will compound into a significant improvement in your skill set. Example: networking. Networking is essential for career growth, but many people find it uncomfortable or time-consuming. Using the 5-minute rule, you can make networking more manageable. Spend just 5 minutes each day connecting with colleagues, sending messages on LinkedIn, or attending virtual networking events. These small efforts will help you build relationships over time, and you may find yourself more comfortable with networking as it becomes a regular part of your routine. 5.4. Relationships. Strengthening bonds with minimal effort. Building and maintaining strong relationships takes time and effort, but the 5-minute rule can make this process easier. Whether it's your partner, family, or friends, dedicating 5 minutes each day to nurturing these connections can make a huge difference. Example: strengthening romantic relationships. In romantic relationships, it's easy to get caught up in the day-to-day routine and forget to invest time in each other. The 5-minute rule can help you prioritize your relationship by committing to 5 minutes of quality time with your partner each day. This could be as simple as having a meaningful conversation, expressing appreciation, or doing something small but thoughtful for each other. Example: keeping in touch with friends and family. Life can get busy, and many of us struggle to keep in touch with friends and family. The 5-minute rule can help you maintain those important relationships by dedicating 5 minutes each day to sending a message, making a quick phone call, or even writing a short note to someone you care about. These small acts of connection can strengthen your relationships over time. Chapter 6. Overcoming common obstacles. Even with a simple concept like the 5-minute rule, you may encounter obstacles along the way. Whether it's a lack of motivation, perfectionism, or life's inevitable distractions, there are ways to overcome these challenges and stay on track. 6.1. Obstacle 1. Lack of motivation. It's normal to feel unmotivated from time to time. Even with the reduced commitment of the 5-minute rule, there will be days when you don't feel like doing anything. However, the 5-minute rule is designed to help you push through those moments. Solution: focus on the minimal commitment. On days when motivation is low, remind yourself that you're only committing to 5 minutes. It's such a small amount of time that you can often talk yourself into doing it, even when you don't feel like it. And once you've started, you might find that the momentum carries you forward. Solution: use external motivation. Sometimes external motivation can be helpful. Consider setting a reward for yourself once you complete your 5 minutes, or sharing your progress with an accountability partner. Having someone else check in on your progress can give you the extra push you need to stay consistent. 6.2. Obstacle 2. Perfectionism. Perfectionism is a common barrier to starting or maintaining habits. Many people believe that if they can't do something perfectly, it's not worth doing at all. The 5-minute rule helps to break this mindset by emphasizing progress over perfection. Solution: embrace imperfect action. The 5-minute rule is all about taking imperfect action. Remind yourself that even 5 minutes of progress is better than nothing. Over time, these small imperfect actions will add up to something significant. Solution: let go of all or nothing thinking. Perfectionists often fall into the trap of all or nothing thinking. They believe they need to do something fully or not at all. The 5-minute rule challenges this mindset by showing that even partial effort is valuable. By letting go of the need for perfection, you'll find it easier to stay consistent and make progress. 6.3. Obstacle 3. Distractions and interruptions. In today's fast-paced world, distractions are everywhere. Whether it's social media, work obligations, or household responsibilities, it's easy to get sidetracked. The 5-minute rule offers a way to stay focused even in the face of distractions. Solution: create a distraction-free environment. Set yourself up for success by creating a distraction-free environment during your 5 minutes of focused work. Turn off notifications, close unnecessary tabs on your computer, and let others know that you'll be unavailable for those 5 minutes. Solution: set a timer. One way to minimize distractions is by setting a timer for your 5-minute activity. Knowing that you have a finite amount of time can help you stay focused and avoid getting sidetracked. Chapter 7. Combining the 5-minute rule with other techniques. The 5-minute rule is a powerful tool on its own, but it becomes even more effective when combined with other habit-building techniques. Here are a few methods that work well in tandem with the 5-minute rule. 7.1. Habit stacking. Pairing new habits with established ones. Habit stacking is a technique popularized by author James Clear in his book Atomic Habits. The idea is to stack a new habit on top of an existing one to make it easier to remember and execute. Example, stacking with your morning routine. Let's say you already have a well-established morning routine that includes brushing your teeth and making coffee. You could stack your 5-minute habit on top of that routine. For example, after you brush your teeth, you could spend 5 minutes stretching or meditating. By tying your new habit to an existing one, you make it more likely that you'll follow through. 7.2. Temptation bundling. Making your habit more enjoyable. Temptation bundling is a technique where you combine a habit you need to do with something you want to do. This makes the habit more enjoyable and increases your motivation to complete it. Example, bundling exercise with entertainment. If you struggle to motivate yourself to exercise, try combining it with something you enjoy. For example, commit to exercising for 5 minutes while watching your favorite TV show or listening to a podcast you love. This makes the exercise feel less like a chore and more like an enjoyable activity. 7.3. Implementation intentions. Planning when and where you'll do your habit. An implementation intention is a strategy where you specify exactly when and where you'll do your habit. Instead of saying, I'll meditate for 5 minutes today, you would say, I'll meditate for 5 minutes at 7 a.m. in my living room. This specific plan makes it more likely that you'll follow through. Example, scheduling your habit. To make the 5-minute rule even more effective, create an implementation intention for your habit. Decide exactly when and where you'll do your 5-minute activity. By creating a clear plan, you reduce the chances of forgetting or procrastinating. Chapter 8. Real-life applications in the workplace and personal life. Let's explore some specific examples of how the 5-minute rule can be applied in both personal and professional settings. 8.1. Workplace productivity. In the workplace, the 5-minute rule can help you overcome procrastination, tackle difficult tasks, and stay on top of your workload. Example, starting a big project. If you have a large, complex project that feels overwhelming, use the 5-minute rule to break it down into manageable chunks. Commit to working on the project for just 5 minutes. Often, the hardest part is getting started, and once you begin, you'll find it easier to continue. Example, clearing your inbox. For many people, managing email is a constant source of stress. Instead of letting your inbox pile up, commit to spending 5 minutes each day organizing and responding to emails. This small action will help you stay on top of your communication without feeling overwhelmed. 8.2. Home and personal life. The 5-minute rule can also be applied to household tasks, personal goals, and self-care routines. Example, decluttering your home. If your home feels cluttered and you don't know where to start, use the 5-minute rule to tackle one small area at a time. Spend just 5 minutes each day organizing a drawer, a shelf, or a corner of a room. Over time, these small efforts will lead to a more organized and peaceful living space. Example, practicing self-care. Self-care is often neglected because people feel they don't have enough time for it. The 5-minute rule makes self-care more accessible. Spend 5 minutes each day doing something that nourishes your mind, body, or soul, whether it's meditating, journaling, or simply taking a few deep breaths. Chapter 9. Mastering the 5-minute rule for learning and education. The 5-minute rule isn't just a tool for personal development and productivity. It's a powerful method for lifelong learning. Whether you're a student trying to grasp new concepts or an adult aiming to learn a new skill, the 5-minute rule can transform the way you approach education. 9.1. Breaking down complex subjects into simple steps. Learning a new subject can feel overwhelming, especially when the material is complex or requires a significant time commitment. The beauty of the 5-minute rule is that it makes even the most daunting learning tasks manageable. Example, learning a new language. Languages require consistent practice to build fluency. Many people set out to learn a new language but give up because they try to do too much at once. By committing to just 5 minutes of language practice each day, you take the pressure off. Start with a language app or flashcards, and over time, as you build consistency, those 5 minutes can expand to longer study sessions. The key is showing up daily, which helps reinforce vocabulary and grammar. Example, mastering mathematics or science. If you're a student struggling with difficult subjects like math or science, apply the 5-minute rule to your study routine. Instead of trying to conquer an entire chapter in one sitting, commit to solving one problem or reviewing one concept for 5 minutes. Breaking your study sessions into small, focused intervals helps reduce cognitive overload and makes it easier to retain information. 9.2. The power of spaced repetition and the 5-minute rule. Spaced repetition is a learning technique where you review material at increasing intervals over time. It's proven to be one of the most effective methods for retaining knowledge. Combining the 5-minute rule with spaced repetition can supercharge your learning process. How it works. Rather than cramming for hours before a test or trying to memorize large amounts of information at once, the 5-minute rule allows you to spread out your learning in bite-sized chunks. Commit to spending 5 minutes reviewing flashcards or notes each day. Using a spaced repetition system, such as an app like Anki, you can review material at optimal intervals, helping you remember concepts for the long term. This technique not only helps with retention, but also takes the pressure off intensive study sessions, making learning more enjoyable and sustainable. 9.3. Fostering curiosity and lifelong learning. The 5-minute rule encourages a growth mindset by making learning a habit rather than a chore. One of the keys to lifelong success is continuous learning, and the 5-minute rule removes the mental barriers that prevent people from pursuing new knowledge. Example: exploring new interests. If you've always been curious about a particular subject, whether it's history, art, or even astrophysics, use the 5-minute rule to explore it without feeling overwhelmed. Spend 5 minutes each day reading an article, watching a short video, or listening to a podcast on the topic. Over time, this consistent exposure will deepen your understanding and may even spark new passions or career opportunities. 9.4. Applying the 5-minute rule in formal education settings. For students, applying the 5-minute rule in their daily academic routine can significantly improve performance. Teachers and educators can also incorporate the rule into classroom settings by encouraging students to engage in 5-minute review sessions, short bursts of problem solving, or quick discussions. Example: study groups. In study groups, students often feel overwhelmed by the amount of material they need to cover. By implementing the 5-minute rule during group sessions, students can focus on a single concept for 5 minutes before moving on to the next topic. This method keeps the group engaged and ensures that each topic receives focused attention. Chapter 10. The Science of Habit Formation and the 5-minute Rule. At the core of the 5-minute rule is the science of habit formation. Understanding the psychological and neurological mechanisms behind habit building can help you apply this rule more effectively and consistently. 10.1. The Habit Loop. Cue, routine, reward. One of the most well-known frameworks for understanding habits comes from Charles Duhigg's book, The Power of Habit, which describes the habit loop, a neurological cycle that governs habit formation. The habit loop consists of 3 components: the cue, the routine, and the reward. Cue. This is the trigger that initiates the habit. It could be a specific time of day, a particular location, or even an emotional state. Routine. This is the action you take in response to the cue, such as exercising, reading, or practicing a skill. Reward. This is the positive outcome that reinforces the habit, such as a feeling of accomplishment, physical well-being, or intellectual satisfaction. The 5-minute rule fits perfectly into this framework. By establishing a cue, such as a specific time or location, performing the routine, 5 minutes of focused activity, and experiencing the reward, the satisfaction of completing the task, you create a positive feedback loop that strengthens the habit over time. Example: morning routine. Let's say you want to build the habit of meditating each morning. You can use the 5-minute rule as part of your habit loop. Your cue could be waking up or making your morning coffee. The routine would be meditating for 5 minutes, and the reward could be a sense of calm or clarity that sets a positive tone for the rest of your day. 10.2. The role of dopamine in habit formation. Dopamine, often referred to as the feel-good neurotransmitter, plays a crucial role in habit formation. Whenever you complete a task, no matter how small, your brain releases dopamine as a reward. This creates a positive association with the behavior and increases the likelihood that you'll repeat it in the future. The 5-minute rule works with this natural dopamine feedback system by providing small, frequent wins. Each time you complete a 5-minute task, your brain releases a burst of dopamine, which motivates you to continue the habit the next day. Over time, this consistent release of dopamine helps reinforce the habit and makes it easier to maintain. 10.3 Neuroplasticity: How small actions rewire your brain. Another important concept in the science of habit formation is neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections. When you repeat a behavior consistently, the neural pathways associated with that behavior become stronger. This is why habits, both good and bad, can become automatic over time. The 5-minute rule leverages neuroplasticity by encouraging daily repetition. Even if the action is small, the consistent practice helps to strengthen the neural pathways associated with the habit. Over time, this repetition turns the behavior into an automatic response, requiring less conscious effort to perform. Example: learning to play an instrument. If you're learning to play a musical instrument, the 5-minute rule can help you develop muscle memory and strengthen the neural connections required for mastery. Spending just 5 minutes each day practicing scales, finger exercises, or simple melodies reinforces the neural pathways in your brain, making it easier to play the instrument without thinking. 10.4 The power of consistency in habit formation. One of the most significant factors in successful habit formation is consistency. The 5-minute rule thrives on the principle of consistency by focusing on small, manageable actions that you can perform every day. Research shows that it takes an average of 66 days to form a new habit, although the time can vary depending on the complexity of the behavior. By committing to just 5 minutes each day, you make it easier to maintain the consistency required to form a lasting habit. Example: writing a book. Many aspiring writers struggle to complete their projects because they feel they need long, uninterrupted blocks of time to write. By using the 5-minute rule, you can write for just 5 minutes each day, ensuring that you maintain consistency. Over time, those 5 minutes will add up, and you'll make significant progress on your writing project. 10.5 The role of environment in habit formation. Your environment plays a significant role in shaping your habits. The more conducive your environment is to the habit you want to build, the more likely you are to succeed. The 5-minute rule can help you take advantage of environmental cues to reinforce your desired behavior. Example: setting up a productive workspace. If you're trying to build a habit of studying or working on a project, create an environment that encourages focus and productivity. Spend 5 minutes each day organizing your workspace, removing distractions, and setting up tools or materials that support your goals. This small daily effort can transform your environment into a space that fosters positive habits. Chapter 11: The 5-minute rule and the power of accountability. One of the most powerful ways to reinforce the 5-minute rule is through accountability. Studies have shown that people are far more likely to achieve their goals when they have someone holding them accountable. By combining the 5-minute rule with accountability strategies, you can significantly increase your chances of success. 11.1 Accountability. Partners. An accountability partner is someone who checks in with you regularly to make sure you're sticking to your goals. The 5-minute rule works well with accountability partners because it gives you a clear, simple task to report on each day. Example: workout buddies. If you're trying to build an exercise habit, find a workout buddy who can hold you accountable for your daily 5 minutes of movement. You can check in with each other through text messages, phone calls, or even social media. Knowing that someone else is counting on you can provide the motivation you need to stay consistent. 11.2 Public accountability. If you don't have an accountability partner, you can create a sense of accountability by making your goals public. Sharing your progress on social media or with a community of like-minded individuals can help you stay on track with your 5-minute habit. Example: online communities. Join an online community related to the habit you're trying to build. For example, if you're trying to develop a writing habit, you can join a writing group on social media or a forum where members share their daily writing progress. By publicly committing to your 5-minute habit, you'll feel more accountable to the group, which increases your chances of sticking with it. Chapter 12. The role of mindset in mastering the 5-minute rule. While the 5-minute rule is an incredibly powerful tool for building habits, your mindset plays a critical role in its success. Without the right mindset, even the simplest task can feel overwhelming. This chapter will explore how to cultivate the mindset needed to maximize the benefits of the 5-minute rule, ensuring that it becomes a sustainable part of your life. 12.1. Growth mindset versus fixed mindset. A concept popularized by psychologist Carol Dweck. The growth mindset is the belief that abilities and intelligence can be developed through hard work, learning, and dedication. In contrast, a fixed mindset is the belief that abilities are static, and there's little room for improvement. Your mindset influences how you approach challenges, and it plays a key role in habit building. When you approach the 5-minute rule with a growth mindset, you're more likely to embrace the small wins, recognize progress, and persist through setbacks. On the other hand, a fixed mindset might make you feel that 5 minutes isn't enough to make a difference, leading to discouragement. Example, the growth mindset in action. Let's say your goal is to learn to play the guitar. With a fixed mindset, you might feel frustrated after practicing for 5 minutes because you didn't see immediate results. However, with a growth mindset, you'll understand that learning an instrument is a process and that each 5-minute session is a building block toward long-term mastery. By focusing on progress rather than perfection, you'll be more motivated to continue practicing each day. 12.2. Embracing imperfection. One of the reasons people fail to stick with new habits is that they feel the need to do things perfectly. Perfectionism is often rooted in fear of failure, fear of judgment, or fear of not meeting one's own high standards. This fear can cause people to avoid starting or to quit when they don't achieve immediate success. The 5-minute rule challenges this perfectionistic mindset by lowering the stakes. It's hard to expect perfection in just 5 minutes, which makes it easier to get started. Over time, this practice helps you embrace imperfection and recognize that progress, not perfection, is the key to success. Example, overcoming perfectionism in writing. If you're a writer struggling with perfectionism, you might avoid writing because you feel your words need to be flawless. The 5-minute rule allows you to let go of that pressure. By committing to writing for just 5 minutes, you can give yourself permission to write imperfectly. Over time, this practice will help you realize that imperfect action is better than no action at all. The important thing is to keep moving forward. 12.3. Reframing challenges as opportunities. Your mindset shapes how you perceive challenges. Instead of viewing obstacles as setbacks, people with a resilient mindset see them as opportunities to learn and grow. This mindset shift is crucial when building habits with the 5-minute rule, because you will inevitably encounter difficulties, whether it's a lack of motivation, time constraints, or external distractions. By reframing challenges as opportunities to practice resilience, you'll be more likely to stick with your 5-minute habits, even on tough days. Every challenge becomes a chance to strengthen your commitment and improve your problem-solving skills. Example, a day full of distractions. Let's say you've committed to spending 5 minutes each day practicing mindfulness. One day you're overwhelmed with work, family obligations, and other distractions. Instead of giving up on your mindfulness practice, use the 5-minute rule to reframe the situation. Tell yourself that this is an opportunity to practice mindfulness in the midst of chaos. By seeing the challenge as an opportunity rather than a setback, you'll be more likely to follow through. 12.4. The power of visualization. Visualization is a mental technique used by high performers in sports, business, and other fields to enhance motivation and focus. By visualizing yourself successfully completing a task, you prime your brain to take the necessary actions to make that vision a reality. When combined with the 5-minute rule, visualization can help you stay focused and motivated, even when the task feels difficult or tedious. Spend a few moments visualizing yourself completing your 5-minute habit and experiencing the positive emotions that come with it. This mental rehearsal makes it more likely that you'll follow through with the action. Example, visualizing a successful workout. If you're using the 5-minute rule to build a workout routine, spend a minute or two visualizing yourself completing your 5-minute exercise session. Imagine how strong and energized you'll feel afterward. This positive visualization can help you overcome resistance and make it easier to get started. 12.5. Cultivating patience and long-term thinking. One of the challenges of habit building is that results often take time. In our fast-paced, results-driven world, it's easy to become impatient when we don't see immediate outcomes. However, the 5-minute rule teaches us the value of delayed gratification and long-term thinking. By committing to just 5 minutes a day, you may not see instant results, but over time, these small actions compound into significant progress. Cultivating patience allows you to stay focused on the process rather than becoming discouraged by the lack of immediate rewards. Example: weight loss journey. If your goal is to lose weight, the 5-minute rule can help you build healthy habits like exercising or meal planning. However, weight loss is often a slow process, and it can be frustrating when the scale doesn't move right away. By embracing patience and focusing on the long-term benefits of your 5-minute actions, you'll be more likely to stick with your healthy habits, even when results take time. 12.6. Celebrating small wins. In the journey to building long-term habits, it's important to celebrate small wins along the way. These small victories provide a sense of accomplishment and reinforce the habit loop, making it easier to stay motivated. How to celebrate small wins. Even if you'll only complete 5 minutes of a task, take a moment to acknowledge your effort. You can reward yourself with something simple, like a short break, a cup of tea, or a few minutes of relaxation. The key is to create a positive association with the habit, which will make it easier to continue in the future. Example: celebrating progress in learning. If you're learning a new skill, such as painting, celebrate your progress. Even if it's just 5 minutes of practice each day, take a picture of your work or keep a log of your daily efforts. Over time, you'll see how those small actions add up, and you'll feel proud of the consistency you've maintained. Chapter 13. The 5-minute rule and time management. Incorporating the 5-minute rule into your time management system can transform the way you approach your daily tasks and responsibilities. Many people struggle with time management because they feel overwhelmed by long to-do lists, complex projects, or a lack of focus. The 5-minute rule simplifies time management by breaking tasks into small, manageable chunks. 13.1. The Pomodoro technique in the 5-minute rule. One popular time management strategy that pairs well with the 5-minute rule is the Pomodoro technique. This technique involves working in focused intervals, usually 25 minutes, followed by short breaks. By incorporating the 5-minute rule, you can create even shorter bursts of focused work when starting a task feels overwhelming. Example: overcoming procrastination with Pomodoro and the 5-minute rule. If you're procrastinating on a big project, start with the 5-minute rule. Commit to just 5 minutes of focused work. Once you've completed the 5 minutes, transition into a Pomodoro session, 25 minutes. This allows you to ease into the task without feeling overwhelmed by the larger time commitment. 13.2. Task prioritization, using the 5-minute rule to start important tasks. One of the biggest challenges in time management is deciding which tasks to prioritize. Many people spend time on low-priority tasks because they're easier or less intimidating than high-priority tasks. The 5-minute rule can help you overcome this tendency by making it easier to start the most important tasks on your list. Example: tackling high-priority work. If you're avoiding a high-priority task because it feels daunting, apply the 5-minute rule. Commit to spending just 5 minutes on the task. This small commitment lowers the barrier to entry and helps you start making progress. Once you've begun, you'll likely find it easier to continue working on the task. 13.3. Avoiding time wasters with the 5-minute rule. In today's digital world, distractions are everywhere. Social media, emails, and other time wasters can easily derail your productivity. The 5-minute rule can help you stay focused by creating short bursts of dedicated time for meaningful tasks. Example: reducing social media distractions. If you find yourself spending too much time on social media, apply the 5-minute rule to your productive tasks first. Commit to 5 minutes of focused work before allowing yourself to check your social media accounts. By prioritizing 5 minutes of productive activity, you can minimize distractions and keep yourself on track. 13.4. Using the 5-minute rule to master your calendar. One of the most effective ways to manage your time is by scheduling your tasks into your calendar. The 5-minute rule makes it easier to schedule short, manageable tasks into your day without feeling overwhelmed by larger blocks of time. Example: time blocking with the 5-minute rule. Instead of scheduling an hour-long block of time to work on a project, start by scheduling 5-minute intervals throughout your day. You can block out multiple 5-minute sessions to work on different aspects of the project. This approach allows for flexibility while ensuring that you make progress on your most important tasks. 13.5. The power of microtasks, how the 5-minute rule fits into the bigger picture. In time management, the concept of microtasks refers to breaking down larger tasks into smaller, more manageable components. The 5-minute rule encourages this approach by helping you focus on just one microtask at a time. Example: breaking down a large project. Let's say you're working on a large project, such as writing a research paper. Instead of trying to tackle the entire paper at once, break it down into microtasks such as outlining the introduction, finding research sources, or drafting individual sections. Use the 5-minute rule to focus on one microtask at a time. Over the course of several days or weeks, these small actions will lead to the completion of the larger project. You've just taken the first step toward transforming your life. Right now, it's time to take action. Don't let this moment slip by. Start using the 5-minute rule today and unlock the power of small, consistent actions to create lasting change. If this video inspired you, hit the like button to let us know you're ready to start this journey. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss more strategies that will elevate your life, and turn on notifications to be the first to receive new content that will help you stay ahead. Share this video with someone who needs that extra push. Together, we can build a community of achievers, one small step at a time. Remember, every big success starts with just 5 minutes, so take that first step now.